I think you have got the complete process, how the things are happening inside the IT industry. So usually how we will get the requirements from the customers, and how the requirements are going to be understood by all the department like development and testing people, and how they are started, then like how they are going to work. So all this knowledge, like we got it right, like how the complete software life cycle we have seen, and also in addition to that, we have also seen what is the complete testing life cycle. So it's our life cycle in the SDLC process, the uh, complete process from the requirement gathering to release, what is happening in the SDLC process we have seen. And in the testing process, what exactly we have understood, like how our testing, like what are the steps that we are going to do from the starting to ending. You just got all the details, right? So now we have learned about the entire software testing lifecycle process. And anyway, we are just going to see the in-depth of this test plan, what is available inside the test plan, how the test cases we are just going to write, all these things we are just going to see. Okay. After that, anyway, execution is going to be very much straightforward. So you are just going to open the application and you are going to test based on these test cases which has been prepared. And if you want to raise any issues or bugs, you are just going to use the Jira, like a tracking tools, bug tracking tools. Now you just got the complete picture, right? What is happening inside the IT industry? Am I right or wrong? The complete process, we got it. Now we are just going to see in detail information about this software testing lifecycle. What exactly, what are the types of testings we are just going to perform? What are the things really that we are just going to do? That kind of things and all we are just going to see. So before that, right, like I just want to give you a glance. So what the usually the software is going to be developed by the development people, and it is going to be hosted in the particular environment. Environment means what here? There is some set of servers will be there, right? One is QA server, QA or testing server. Server will be there, and also development server will be there, and then finally live server, live or customer or UAT. Sorry, here either they can use UAT server as the live server itself, or otherwise they can use our QA server for this UAT purpose. That is going to be depend on customer to customer UAT server. See, these are all the three types of servers we are just going to have. Initially, when the developer complete their development process, they are going to host means what? They are going to host or deployment or deploy the code. See, here it is there, like host or deployment environment. That means, see, developer is going to develop the code and they are going to host it or deploy it into the development server, development environment. We are just going to call this as a, so one of the server will be, it's going to be allotted to the developers. One of the server, they are going to allot to our QA or testing team. One of the server is going to be the live server, which is going to be used by the customers, right? There are going to be three servers are going to be there. So we are the persons who is going to get the access for our testing servers. Here, once the developer completes the development, they are going to host the things in the first. Initially, they are going to host the application into the development server, and where the development engineers are going to test after moving the code from their local system to development server. Initially, it is going to be in the local servers, local missions, developer local missions. So that's where they're going to develop, right? From the developer local system, the code is going to be moved to development server, and from that development server, if everything is working fine, means they are going to give the same same code to our testing people, and they are going to host that in the testing servers. Once we are going to test everything in the testing server and we find that complete application is working fine in this server, then only we are just going to provide our approval to move that code or software or application to this live server. You are getting it?
No, Rajesh, I'm not getting it.
Okay. First, I just do one thing. See, what is meant by deployment or hosting? Hosting or deployment means what? Initially, we are just going to get the requirements. How we are just going to get the requirements? Through documents, correct? They are going to provide everything in a documents. So after studying this document, what the developers are going to do? Developers, they are going to write some set of code for preparing this software, correct? So they are going to make this documentation into some set of software. They are going to develop the software, which is going to be one of the application. So it is going to be one of the URL. Am I right? So it's going to be one of the URL. So by accessing this URL only, we are able to get our websites, like whatever the website that we are able to see. So in that website, whatever the requirements they have provided in this document, that is going to be available in this website. So these developers are going to develop these web pages. So initially, where they are going to develop these web pages means in their local systems. So each and every developer will have one mission. So one system, local systems. In their particular mission, they are going to write some set of code. They are going to write this one. We are just going to call them as a software. If they want to develop any software, right, there will be some technologies. They want to use some set of technologies. So there will be, what is the technologies? There is a code called front-end code and back-end code. Back-end. That means what is front-end code means? There are some set of languages, application languages, by using which kind of languages they can develop the software. That means, so you know, right? You heard about Java, Python, C, C++, C, C++, and C#. Do you heard about these languages? See, okay. Language, front-end languages. We are just going to call them as a front-end. Front-end languages means, what is meant by front-end languages? You are just going to have, and so Java or Python or C#. So something like it's going to be like this. We are just going to have this and all. We are just going to call them as a front-end languages. What by using these languages, what the developers are going to do means they are going to develop some software using this languages. they are going to develop the software or application. Software or application. So this one we are just going to, why we are going to call this as a front end languages means, see for example, you take any website. For example, I'm just going to take one of the website here. So we will take any website like an Amazon also is there, right? We'll take an Amazon website. Okay. So Amazon.com or something. So when you are just going to open this Amazon website, right? So here, how the application should look and feel, how the things should be displayed. When I just enter this URL, this application is launching with some set of menus here. Okay, this and all the menus, we are just going to call it as a menus. And then here, some set of information, who has logged into the system, what are the orders that they have ordered. So what are the cart, inside the cart, if there is any already selected related things that is going to be available inside this. What are the orders means? It is going to keep some set of orders here. Okay. So now if you want to search for any particular items, for example, you want to search for mobile devices or something, mobiles or otherwise mobile holders for car or something. So you want to search for particular items, there will be some set of things and all will be there, right? So this one we are just going to call it as a application. Initially, they are going to see here for developing this thing, right? They should use one of the they should have developed this application by using any one of the language. Either they should have used Java to develop this, or they should have used Python language for developing this, or they should have used C# language for developing this. So they may have used any one of the language. In addition to that, right, we are also going to have some set of languages like for front end designing, we are just going to use HTML language also. Do you heard about this HTML language? So usually, see, if I'm just going to do a right click and do an inspect here, so this pages has been developed by using this kind of code only. See here in the left side, it is displaying some set of code. So by using this particular code, see already this has been developed using the HTML language. So using this HTML language, they have designed this web page. You are getting this point?
Yes.
See, this is the front end coding. See, for developing this, where they want to display this image, where they want to put this like this search text box, where they want to display this account details, where they want to display this written, and how the menus should be displayed in the left side. What are the checkboxes? How it should be displayed? What is the size of this? What is the length? What is the image we want to display? See, what is the menus and all, it should get displayed here. These things and all, they are going to develop this by using any one of these languages. So using this we are just going to call it as front end language. Why we are just calling it as a FE? Why we are calling this as a FE language or front end language? Why we are going to call it as a front end language means, because this all the things, so it is displayed in the front for the users. So users are able to view all these things. Correct. So users are able to view all these things means, then we are just going to make it as a front end. See, already we are for designing where to keep this image, where to bring all these things and all, like it has been available from it has been displaying by using the front end code. But we are getting, when we are launching this page, right, at the time itself, it is showing like who has logged in. It is showing my name. So who has logged in and what are the orders that I have ordered? It is going to keep all the data, right? So where it is going to keep all this data means, it is going to keep in some other place called databases. Do you know about this term called database?
Yes.
Database is the one where it is going to store all data related to the this application. See, related to this particular application, we want to keep all this information somewhere else. Then only the users, when they are viewing these things, right, they can just go and retrieve the information from that, and it is going to get displayed to us. See, from where you are getting all these details. See, how much of this item is, what is the cost of this item? So who is the dealer selling these particular things? All these details and all, where it is getting it from, where it is fetching it from. That means all these details already, they should have stored it in one of the database. Store all this data in one of the database. Database is nothing but, so it is going to store some set of data. Okay. So all the data related to our application is going to be stored in the database. Database, that's what we are just going to say here is database, that means DB, is nothing but backend. So why they are calling this as a front end coding? Why they are calling this database as a backend coding? The B is nothing but a backend. Backend means, see, all this data and all, you don't know where it is going to get stored. That is going to stored in one of the database. So whenever you are logging into this particular system, it is going to check. See, if you are going to sign in, right? When you are clicking on the sign in, it is going to validate. So who is the like exactly? It is like you are giving some username and password. So that username and password, if it is a correct only, it is allowing you to log into the system, right? If it is wrong, means it is not allowing you to log into the system. So how the system is validating all these things from this front end? It is going to take whatever the inputs that you are just going to give here. So when you are signing in, right? So what is the username or mobile number, what you are just going to give and click on continue? It is going to send the signals to the database. So I'm just going to open another new page also. See, from the front end, for example, you take, this is a login page, username and password. This is the login button is there. Okay, sorry. Login button is there. So if you are just going to provide one username and password, so it should take you to it should take this username and password and go to the database. Database means what? Already for this application, right? We should have stored all the details in some database called. See, for example, I'm just going to I'm just going to show you one thing. So our database is going to be like this. So in this database, right? Database is nothing but it's a storage device. So where our application related data is going to be stored. For example, there it is going to store based on the tabular columns. Okay, it's going to be like this. For example, here username is going to be one of the column, and the password is going to be in another column, and then maybe like what type of user is going to be in another column, and department is going to be in another column. So like this, they are going to have some set of data and all. They are going to already they should have stored all this information. See, for example, if I have already stored that, so Raj is the username, password is 123 is my password, and then like who is there is a Sneha is the username. So SN123 is her password. And then who is that other persons and Payas is there. So maybe for Payas, P-I-O-S, Payas. So for him, the password is going to be like P123. It's going to be like this. See, the other details are going to be already they have stored all this data in the database. Now, if you are just going to log into the system, what is the username and password you have provided here? And for example, Payas is logging into the system. Okay. Now he has given his username and password. What it is going to do means, it is when you click on the login button, so it is going to directly take this username and password and it is going to check the first record. So is that matching with this username and password is matching with this first record? No. It will go to the second record. It's matching with the second record? No. It will go to the third record. It is matching. So it is matching with this particular username and password means, then it is going to redirect to another page called a home page or something. So you are getting this point at least?
Yes.
Okay. See, now in this way, see, now if you are going to give some wrong username and wrong password, in the similar way, it is going to check each and every row, and finally, like no other records are matching. Whatever the data that is stored in the database, that is not going to be matched with these details means, it is going to display a error message saying that your username and password are not matching. Not matching. Please enter the correct username and password. It is not going to take you to the home page. So that is the functionalities it is going to happen here. Correct. So if you are just going to design these kind of pages and all, front end pages. So this one we are just going to call it as a label. This is a text box. So this is a button. This like this, you are just going to design these particular pages means, for designing these pages and all, we are just going to use this front end languages. That is called either HTML language, Java, Python, C#. See, even all these functionalities, when you click on login button, it should go to the home page. Those redirections and all, it is going to happen by using this communications and all. Front end related stuff is going to be handled by the front end coding called Java, Python, and all those things. See, what is for storing up all the data, we want to use some kind of other languages like database languages. Database languages. We are just going to say that database languages. For storing up these data also, there is some kind of backend languages is there. What are the languages means? Database languages. There is a language called SQL. Do you heard about this? Oracle or PLSQL. So like this, we are just going to have some set of languages. Do you heard about this? Oracle, PLSQL. Anyone heard about this language names?
Yes.
Okay. So what about others? Like you are able to, you heard about these things?
Yes.
I just heard. I don't know much about that.
Okay, fine. These are all the languages which is used to store this kind of data and all in a organized way, where there will be some set of tabular. See, in the database languages and all, it is going to be designed based on this particular tabular column only. Each and every data, whatever the data you are just going to key in from the system, that information and all, it is going to be stored in the database. See, before the application gets started itself, we are going to enter some set of predefined data and all into this database tables. So we are just going to make sure that like all these users has been already added, means only that users only the system is going to allow the people to enter into the applications. Okay, you are able to view these things. Okay, understand, at least you are able to understand whatever the things that I am saying here.
Yes.
What about others? Like
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, fine. So if you have any doubts, means like you are not able to understand or you did not heard about any terms or anything, right? You can also stop me and just ask me to explain those things. I'll explain that. Okay. Even Payas or Daniel or
Yeah.
okay, fine. So see, now this is fine here. Okay. Now using this kind of languages and all, this is going to handle how the data is going to be stored in the back end. Now, by just communicating between this front end and back end languages, the data is going to be transferred from application to database, database to application. To and fro is going to happen. So whenever the data is required to display in the screens, we are just going, it is going to fetch from the database tables. Whenever you want to key in some data, means you want to save some data. For example, we'll be having one set of employee information screens will be there. Employee information screen. In that employee information screen, so employee name, they are going to enter the employee name. They are going to enter, they are going to save the details means. So newly one of the person has joined very much newly and he has joined as an employee. So we want to enter that data into this particular system. So we are just going to key in. Maybe HR is going to key in all these details: employee name, employee ID. So all these details are they are going to key in, and the department. So all these things are they are just going to key in, and finally we are just going to have a button called save button will be there. So after entering all these details, when the user is going to, when the user who is accessing this application is going to click on the save button, these given details and all, it is going to be stored as in another record. So here as a username, password, and all, they want to provide. They're like employee name, employee ID, or something. It is going to have some set of columns. So in that columns, all the details are. It's going to be stored all these details in that particular columns. So when you are just going to click on the save button. Okay, these kind of things and all, it is going to be happened. So always this front end languages and back end languages are going to talk with each other. So this from the front end, they are going to pass the data to the back end. From the and this back end languages are going to store the data in a proper and organized way. And whenever the data is required from this database, it is going to provide to this front end languages called the web pages. For this particular web pages, it is going to, if there is any read only screens is there means, so if you want to find out how many employees are there in that, so if you want to fetch that the details means, so all these details from this particular table, it is going to be get displayed in the front end screen. Okay, you are just getting it right. So like this, the to and fro data is going to be changed. So in the similar way, like if you are just going to key in as an username and password, correct username and password, it is going to check with the corresponding data, and it's going to find out if the correct username is, it is going to allow us to log into the system. If it is wrong username means, it is going to throw an error message saying that you have entered wrong in so wrong username and password. Like that, those kind of things and all, it is going to be handled by this front end languages. So now you just got it right. So why we have came into this particular topic means, so initially where I have just started, see here, I'm just trying to explain you what is this like. So now you just got these particular details and all right. So using these particular languages only, their developers are designing this particular application. That means applications or software or this particular system. Okay, we are just going to call it as anyway. So developers are going to develop the software or application or system using the above front end and back end languages. So you are getting using these particular languages only because they should follow some set of coding standards, coding things and all. So they are just going to use this any one of the front end means, for example, you can use Java with Oracle. or otherwise Python with Oracle, or Python with PLSQL, or otherwise C# with SQL. Like this, you want to use some combination. Which language is going to be the front end language? Which language is going to be the back end language? That already they will be deciding. They are going to take any one of the language from the front end, any one of the language from the back end, and they are going to develop the application. You are getting it? I want everyone response because maybe you are new to these things, right? So that is the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm getting the point.
Yeah, good.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, see, using that particular things only, these people are going to develop. Once they have already developed some set of code. So they have developed some set of software like this. So here I told, right? They have developed this. This code has been developed in their local systems. Local system means what? See, I am using one of the laptop, means I am just going to develop my application, my requirement. I'm just going to convert my requirement into a software in my local system. Okay, and some other developer. So developer one is going to develop some set of code in his local system. And developer two is going to develop some set of code in his. See, one person cannot develop the complete application, right? There should be some set of developers should be there. They are so they want to split the requirements which is given, and they want to split. They are going to split this requirements. Means requirement one is going to be developed by the developer one. Requirement two is going to be developed by developer two. Yes. Yes. Any doubts or anything? No, right? Okay. See, these requirements, they are going to split up into some set of subtasks. So then first requirement one is going to be taken by this developer one. Requirement two is going to be developed by the developer two. Requirement three is going to be developed by developer three. Where they are going to develop, they are going to develop in their local systems. Okay, in his developer one laptop, he has developed this particular software, this requirement related software. In the developer two laptop, he has developed this one. In the developer three laptop, he has developed this. This is called local systems. Now, once they have completed all this development, what these people are going to do means they are going to add or put this softwares into the server called development server. They want, that is, they want to combine all this development server. They want to combine all their code. If they, before combining also, they are going to put it in one of the server called development server. And see, in their local system, it is going to work fine. Once this code is going to be moved to some set of server means, sometimes it may not work fine. So that they want to check, it is not only that should work only in his local, it should also work in the server environment also. That is called development server. They are going, that is the reason they are going to move their code to the development server. They are going to move their software to the development server. And here they are going to do the testing. Who is going to do the testing? The developers are going to do the testing in the development environment. Once this people has been developed and these people has been tested in the server, development server, and they're going to make sure that software is working fine even after moving to the other system called server also means. Then they are going to make sure that they are going to release it to the test engineers, and the same software is going to be moved to the another server called QA server. So this server is belongs to only these people can access this. When the code here is properly working means they are going to move the same code to the testing server. Here we are just going to call it as a testing server. So this testing server is going to be accessed by all the QA team. QA team is going to access this server, and we are going to verify this application which these people has been developed, is the system is working fine or not. So here the tester 1 will be there, tester 2 will be there, tester 3 will be there. All these people are going to access this server. Accessing server means what? See, when after hosting it into the server, we are just going to get one of the URL that is called. This URL is going to be very much applicable only for this test engineers QA team. So this URL can be accessed by this QA team. This QA team is going to get the application from this server, and they are going to do their manual testing in this particular server. So these type of moving the code from the local system to development server or system, and from the development server to QA server, if they are going to move, we are just going to call it as an deployment. We are just going to call it as an hosting or deployment. Now you are just getting this point. The code which has been developed in the development environment is going to be moved to, initially they are going to move it to the development server, from the local system to development server. In the development server, it is working fine means, then they are going to move that to QA server. This movement of code from one server to other server, we are just going to call it as either hosting or deployment. Deployment into dev server, deployment into QA server, deployment into live server. Like that, we are just going to call. Moving of code or exe files. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Like, what about others also?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So this type of process only we used to follow. So see, for each and every server so once we are going to test, and we are going to completely test this application using this URL, and we are going to make sure that everything is working fine means, we are going to provide the approval, and it will just go to the live server. They are going to deploy it into the live server, and customer is going to use this URL, and they are going to access. See, for testing, this URL which is available in this test server is going to be different. URL which is like which is available in the development server is going to be very much different, and the live server URL also it's going to be very much different. It's not going to be very much similar. URL for their testing or live, everything is going to get changed based on the server where you are going to host. Based on the server, the links are going to get changed. That means, see here, Amazon.in is the one of the link, right? So this Amazon.link is like, if it is in a live server, we are seeing that Amazon.in. If it is in the stage server, or QA server, dev server, or stage server or something, right? We are just going to have dev Amazon.in. Like this, the server name will be there. URL. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, fine. So see here, if for example, here, if it is Amazon website is in live server means, we are just going to have www.amazon.in will be there. If it is there in the dev server means, so for example, I'm saying, we are just going to have the URL itself, it's going to be dev.amazon.in. Like that, you will be having this link. If it is in the QA server means, maybe instead of dev, like QA or test, QA test.amazon.com. Like this, you may have that, then URL itself, it's going to get vary from server to server. This is going to vary based on the server also. Okay. So, or we are just, the developers are going to create this URLs. You no need to worry about that. We are just going to use these particular URLs, and we are going to test the applications. Okay, you are getting this point, right? We as a QA engineers, we are just going to get this URLs, and we are going to test this kind of applications. And we are going to make sure that system is working properly or not. So, so now it's clear, right? The other and the things are like, so development environment is nothing but developers will develop the application and hosting. Stage, actually here I have just told you one thing. We can call this testing environment as either a stage environment or testing environment or QA environment. Here we are just going to call this like this environment name as three names, either a stage or a testing or QA environment. So developer code will be installed and testing team will do the testing. So you are getting it right. Developer code will be installed and testing team will do the testing here. Okay. And production environment, that is called customer live environment. Production environment, we are just going to this, we are just going to call this live environment as either a customer environment or live environment, or they are going to call it as a production environment. So whatever the names it may be, but it's going to be the same. So you are getting this point. You just remember these names: developer environment, stage or testing or QA environment. Okay.
Yes.
And production or customer or live environment. So these are all the things that you want to just remember these terms. Once the developer has developed the code, that is going to be moved to these kind of servers. So I think like we just got the complete knowledge of these things, right? So till this point, it is fine. They have already, developer has already developed and they have moved the code to the testing environment. Now we are going to start our testing. So that means what we are just going to do here. So first of all, what is manual testing? See, first of all, we have got the software, we have got the URL, we want to test. So usually for testing, mainly what are the kind of testings is there? So testing means what first? Do you know what is mean by a testing?
To find any mistakes or missing.
See, testing is nothing but, see, already they have developed one set of software. For example, you can take anything. See, if they have manufacturers, usually they have manufactured a small pen. So if you want to test that particular pen, means what and all the testings you will be doing? First, say think like, don't think about the software. We'll just take a small pen. So they have manufactured a small pen and they are asking you to test this particular pen. What and all the things you will be like thinking from you? What and all the things points that is going to be come to your mind?
What is the color of the pen? With what the product they are using? Like, is it plastic or something?
Okay, color, material.
Made of plastic material. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll just let you know. See, if for example, if they are going to say that they have developed a pen, means our thinking first, what is our how we should think means, what is the purpose of this particular pen? Who is going to use this particular pen? So we will think about all these things. That is in the later point of time. This is correct. Actually, I'm not saying this is wrong. But first of all, how we want to think means, what is the purpose of this pen? Who is going to use this particular pen? Main purpose is what? We should write properly. Correct. Second purpose what? Like maybe as you said, right? Like if you want either black pen or blue pen, so based on the requirements, or otherwise green color, green pen, green color ink pen, and how smoothly the pen is writing.
Weight of the pen.
Pardon?
Weight of the pen, lightweight or heavy.
Yes, correct. That is also one of the things. Weight and handling. So how? So for like a gripper of this pen for while writing, how much grip we are having? Like the users are really they are going to uh, handled it in a proper way or not. When they are writing lot of things, they are getting any pain in the fingers, so they are properly given some rubber for gripper related stuff. It is going to be there, right, in each and every pen. Not in each and every pen. In some pens we'll have that gripper. Some pens, even that material itself, they will be making it as a smoothen. That is going to get vary based on the company to company. The things are, and model to model, the things are going to get vary. Okay, so but our first assumption is going to be the what exactly the requirement of this pen is, who is going to use. So if the users are going to use, means what is the purpose? So for that purpose is properly working or not, you are just going to write that into some paper and you are going to check. In the similar way, when they are writing in the pen, that is properly whatever the things that you have wrote, right, that is properly got displayed or not, and the pen is writing very smoothly or not. So for handling, it is we are having that grip or not. And also you are just going to check either what is the color, like based on each and every person's color. One person required black pen for their purpose, one person required blue, one person, these kind of colors and all, they are provided or not. So how much of the weight they are going to, either this pen is a reusable pen or not. So like this, see, for a single pen also, we are just going to think in this manner, right? In the similar way, if this kind of things and all, it's nothing but a testing. See, testing means not just finding out the defects, not finding out the problems or issues. So from our point of view, it should be very clear that, so who is going to use this application or something. So what is the main reason for developing this particular application, is that all the requirements has been covered properly or not. So this is going to satisfy the customer or not. So we always want to think in such a manner. So that means testing is nothing but we are going to make sure, testing is nothing but we are going to make sure that the application is working properly with the given requirements, and there is no bugs or issues are available in the application. We want to make sure that the application is working fine without any issues or bugs, right? You're just getting it. So what is meant by testing? Now you got clarity on that. Just not finding out the bugs. Testing means it's not just finding out the bugs. We want to make sure that the system is working properly as per the given requirements. Testing is, we need to make sure the system is working properly as per the given requirement by the customer. So it's fine, right? You are getting this point, right? So that is called testing. So testing is nothing but you are just going to test the system and you are going to make sure that the system is working fine. And while making sure this system here, if the system is not going to work here, you are just going to make sure that quality of the system. See, testing is nothing but we are not going to simply test the application. We are going to check the quality of the system also. What is meant by quality? Quality in the sense, so as I said, like for example, you take this pen itself. So how much like the pen, it is writing, but if it is not writing properly means it is getting stuck up while writing or something means that is not a good quality pen, right? That's what we used to say. In the similar way, when we are testing this application, we also should make sure that the quality is properly developed or not. They have taken care of the quality related steps or not. So if that quality is not available in the application, then we are not going to accept these particular things. We are going to reject the software. Or otherwise, if everything is going to work fine and the quality also it got matched, and the customer, you feel that the customer is not going to like to face any issues with these particular applications, then you are just going to give the sign off. Sign off means you are going to sign on this document. So testing document should be signed by yourself saying that I have tested this application and I am signing here saying that everything is working fine. Like that, you need to give the approval. Sign off is nothing but the approval by the QA team. Always the application is going to be released to the customer once after the sign off or approval is given by the testing team or QA team. See, without our sign off or approval, right, they cannot release it to the customers. Right? You are getting this point.
Like everything is considered like bug free, delivered on time,
Yes.
like
See,
within budget.
everything should be considered, but
Yeah.
there will be some set of things where we want to we also need to obey to the other kind of things, like really if there is any technical issues, they are not able to do something, then for such kind of things and all, you want to agree, and you want to before the customer is going to find out this kind of things, you want to send an either notification, or otherwise you want to record this kind of issues and all, and you want to put in front of the management. The management is going to take these issues and all. Either they feel that they want to take this kind of issues and all to the customer, means they are going to put it in front of the customer, or otherwise they feel that like they don't want to expose it now itself. We will be fixing that within the next version or something, means in that particular point we also should accept in that kind of scenarios. Okay, but most probably 95% of the things always you should accept. 5% things are going to be exemptions. Okay, definitely we will have some one or two cases. There will be some technical issues will be there, or because of our one of the resources lagging, they are not able to do, or some person has really got stuck with some of other things. So such kind of things and all, it's going to be there, that with our knowledge, and we are just going to put in our things in front of the management, and they are going to take the responsibility for such kind of delays or such kind of irrespective of the deliverables, like what is the thing that is going to get not able to finish the things. So those things and all. So we should see when we are providing the sign off, right? We should give the document saying that upon we are making sure that so all other points are working fine. Like that, you want to just give the note. See, some things are not going to work means you want to highlight that points, and you want to send an email notification to the corresponding like either a management team means who is going to be the authorized person, either scrum master will be there, or otherwise like you want to put in front of product owners, or sometimes you want to put in front of customer also. Customer, you want to convince the customers, saying that really because of this kind of technical issues, we are not able to complete these particular points. But apart from these points, the other things are working fine in the system. That's what you are just going to make sure. Now you just got the points, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So now once we when we are going to do the testings, right? There is going to be two types of testings. One is we are just going to do manual testing. So, and another thing is automation testing. So what is mean by manual testing? What is manual testing? Manual testing is nothing but we or the users physically we are just going to open this application URLs and we are going to check each and every functionalities in this particular application. So first initially after logging into this, want to check all the UI related things are displaying properly or not. Is there any distractions is there in this UI? There is no distractions is there. Then first what you will do, you will just go and sign in into the particular system. If you want to sign in, you want to register, go to the registration process, and from there you are just going to go to the registration, and then you will be signing into the system, and you are just going to try to search for some kind of items in these things, and you are going to make sure like this each and every functionality you are just going to see under each and every menus, and you are going to make sure that the system is working fine or not. This kind of things and all manually you are going to click here and there and doing like checking manually. You are going to do some validations, right? That comes under this manual testings. See, whatever the testings that you have manually done, those kind of things and all is going to be done by the some of the automation tools that is going to be called as automation testing. So automation testing is going to be like what are the manual functionalities we are checking. The system is going to be checked. System functionalities are going to verify by using some set of tools, automation tools. Then it is going to be called as an automation testing. Here, we manually, the users, manual test engineers, one second. Manual test engineers are going to test the application manually, checking each and every functionalities by each and every functionalities. So manually, like we are going to test the application manually by checking each and every functionalities in the application means that we are just going to call it as a manual testing. This one we are going to do manually, going to click on this and each and everything. But when the automation tool comes into the picture, right, automatically the tools are going to do action instead of me manually go and click, right? So that is tools are going to record and they are going to play back. The kind of things and all it's going to be there. So we see about those two kind of things. Okay, I think you are just getting the points, right?